Welcome back to STL TV Live. I'm Sarah Thompson. I'm joined by Mitch Leachman again. We're continuing our discussion about native plants here, obviously with the Expo and sale coming up. I wanted to ask you though, I mean, in this effort to encourage people to plant native plants, where do we, when we look at, not to get into history, but when we look at how we got to where we are now, what happened? What made that shift where we're kind of working from a deficit where we now need to make this up?
Sure. Well, I mean, there's a long history, and simply put, though, that history generally starts post-World War II with the suburbanization of America, when folks started moving out of the city and getting their small little homes, and they wanted a landscape, a pretty neat, ornamental, neat and tidy landscape. And our nursery industry today is basically built upon that. Now, I'm not saying this in any way to suggest that the nursery industry is bad or that I don't like them, but they've been giving us now for multiple generations what we've been asking for, which is a very low maintenance and a very green and a very flat and a very orderly landscape. And that was okay, perhaps, when we only took up a certain amount of space in the country. But we've continued to spread, right? Suburbs continue to expand, we continue to move beyond the cities and create more and more space. I'll give you one figure that I try to throw out any chance I get, and I sound really smart, but turf grass, lawns, they've measured and tried to estimate how much space our lawns take up across the country. And they come up with a figure of about 70,000 square miles. Now that sounds really big, but you may not know what the context for that. Well, the area of the state of Missouri is roughly 70,000 square miles. So we've got a lot of grass out there that
isn't supposed to be there.
It's just displacing, right? I mean, we build a home and then we displace what used to be there.
Right.
So,
and it's interesting because I think when you think about, I do think just there's an earnest nature in people when they think, when they're going to a nursery and they're landscaping, that because they're planting flowers, it's like, oh, it's not all concrete. I'm not doing something bad, but taking it a step further by not doing something with native plants, it's kind of working uphill. Or working backwards, I should say. It's just not proper or natural is kind of what you're implying.
Well, and as I said before the break, I mean, certainly, some of those plants that are non-native that you can get from the nursery have some beneficial, value for insects or butterflies or what have you. Butterfly bush is a plant that a lot of folks understand or recognize or they've seen on the landscape, and it's a great nectar plant for butterflies and other pollinators. But it's a non-native plant, and I like to tell folks that have butterfly bush and really enjoy it, if it was so beneficial, then what would happen if we filled the entire landscape with it? Well, unfortunately, all our butterflies would die because there's not a single species of butterfly here in the Midwest that's able to reproduce on that plant. So that's what I mean about, again, ornamentals can have some beneficial value, but for the most part, it's limited. We need the native plant community to really support a healthy functioning system. And also, as mentioned earlier, that's when you get your wildlife interactions. That's when you get your monarch butterflies reproducing in your backyard, and how cool is that?
Right. No, it's an important thing to look at. It's not just, oh, this is where they can feed, but where they can reproduce, where the legs can. I do want to ask about then naturescaping, this idea of naturescaping, which would be like sort of transitioning someone who's a traditional landscaper, but encouraging them to invest in Missouri plants and flowers. So what do we look at when we talk about naturescaping? How do you tell people that it can be fun and attractive and just have the same aesthetic value as what they might traditionally be doing?
Yeah, absolutely. And simply put, naturescaping is landscaping with native plants. And again, as I was saying earlier, you can do a little bit or a lot. And just getting started is the important thing. Taking a space that may have absolutely no ecological value right now and creating a small bed for pollinators. We were talking before the break in the green room, we were talking about mailbox beds. I mean, the idea of taking a small space around your mailbox and putting a half a dozen native plants and creating a little pollinator garden. So you don't have to give up if you really enjoy your turf grass, and some people do. If you really enjoy that look, you don't have to give up on that, again, we're looking for folks to create a space and find an opportunity for the natives.
No, that's, and so well put, so well put. And you can get those plants this weekend at the Native Plant Expo and Sale. It's completely free to go to, and then you'll be able to buy, trade, share native Missouri plants and seeds. Again, free admission. It's taking place at Schlafly Bottle Works right there in downtown Maplewood. For more information, you can call the number on your screen, or you can visit stlouisaudubon.org. And again, there it is, free admissions, donations welcome, Native Plant and Expo Sale. And I think to your point, Mitch, just start small. We can all start small.
Absolutely.
All right, well, thank you again for being here. Thank
My
you
pleasure.
so much. All right, well, remember that admission to this event is free, and you can go check it out this weekend. And for more information, go to the St. Louis Audubon Society's website. We'll be back more with STL TV Live right after this.